My name's Michael Rebane. I'm the Technical Training Manager for Fugro Academy. Today I'm going to be talking about our USV training that we offer down in Plymouth. So a little bit about Fugro. Probably many of you know who we are, but we're the world's leading geodata specialists. Established in 1962, we work primarily in the energy, wind and infrastructure markets. We have a large stand here, so for more information you can come and have a chat with any of our staff. So a little bit about what we operate in Plymouth. So we are situated down in Turnchapel, which is the former Royal Marine base down there as part of the Maritime Autonomy cluster. We've also got a second site, which is over towards Mountbatten. Now, in the Turnchapel site is where we conduct all of our technical training. So it's our physical site for Fugro Academy. As part of that training that we offer there is internal and external. The main areas that I personally manage are hydrography, ROVs, or remotely operated vehicles, USVs, which I should be talking about throughout this presentation, underwater positioning and survey engineering. The other site that we have over towards Mountbatten is where Fugro Seakit are located. Now, Fugro operates a fleet of USVs, and every single one of those USVs has gone through the Plymouth area in order to be commissioned, ready to go and do operational work. So wherever they've been built, whether that be in the UK, Netherlands or elsewhere, that vessel will then come to Plymouth. All of its trials and commissioning will happen in Plymouth and in Plymouth Sound, and then we'll move on to operational work. So just a couple of images, some of the vessels that are commissioned through the Plymouth site. So we work quite closely with them, different building, but we do also work quite closely. And again, the USV training, which I'm going to spend most of this presentation talking about, supports that team. So why do we do our USV commissioning in Plymouth? Well, the big reason is it's a fantastic place to live. It's also a fantastic place to work, especially with USVs. It's a really, really good permissible environment. There's lots of, as many of you will be aware, there's lots of companies that work in the field of autonomy within the Plymouth area. But we've also got Plymouth Sound. Plymouth Sound being a fantastic area to do this work. It's very good for weather permission. And it's also really, it's a fantastic site. I'm a hydrographer, so I had to put some imagery of hydrography up there. But the hydrography is really good because it's quite varied. We've got areas that are down to 40-45 meters in Barn Pool. And then we can also get offshore. We go out past the breakwater to do offshore trials as well. So it's a fantastic area for doing all technical training, but especially USVs. So a little bit about Fugro Academy. I've kind of already mentioned this, but Fugro Academy, these are the different fields that we cover, the technical fields that we cover inside of Plymouth. We also offer training around the world as well. But the three courses that we offer outside of Fugro, we do a lot of internal training for all of these different fields, but the three courses that we offer externally and internally is we offer a Category B hydrographic training program. Again, that's run out of Plymouth down the Turnchapel office. We run a 4-week IMCA accredited ROV training course. That's also running out of Plymouth. And then finally, we have a MCA recognized USV course, and that's also in the Plymouth office. So the course for USV, internally we call it the REM 710. You don't need to worry too much about the coding as to what that actually means. But it's the course that's designed for experienced mariners that will then who might have their ticket for a particular type of workboat, who we then want to train in the USV operations specifically, so they can then operate those vessels safely and efficiently. The idea behind this is it's really to focus very much on the technology's role in the maritime career path. And create future opportunities for USV operators. That's internal to Fugro and external. We were the first course in the UK to be recognised formally by the MCA. So that was a very long process, a lot of paperwork, but it's officially recognised by a Maritime Coast Guard agency, setting a global standard for remote operator training. That was all based on the MCA, a lot of numbers getting thrown out in here, but it's all based on the MCA's internal MGN 703 competency alignment, which covers watchkeeping, navigation, emergency protocols. The idea behind it is that we would, as I say, we would take an existing mariner that would already have quite a bit of experience within radar, within operating vessels, and then putting them through the USV side. Our course is only a week long, so it's quite packed. But that's why we have some quite strict prerequisites on the mariner side to come in beforehand. It's based around theoretical instruction, so classroom type work, delivering foundational knowledge on legislation, communications, what a USV system actually is, cybersecurity, which is a very, very key part of it. So obviously we're talking about a lot of communications with USVs and what cybersecurity requirements that come from that. And that's all through structured classroom sessions. That's very much at the very start of the course. We then move on to the more practical skills, focused learning. So that might be through enhancing the cybersecurity skills. Computer networking is quite a key one. We find that a lot of folks have learned how to drive vessels, may not necessarily know how to wire up a switch. So we'll teach you that. We'll teach you that on the course because that's fundamental to the way that USVs work. So practical skills, focused learning. We then also have we're very lucky enough to have quite a sophisticated VSTEP USV simulator, which we've developed. We've actually done a little bit of tweaking with the help of VSTEP. We recently just had the whole of Plymouth put into that, so we can pretend that we're outside, running a vessel in real time. So we have a sim room which is simulating the ROC, the Remote Operating Center. So that's towards the end of the week. And then finally, for the final day, we do some actual hands-on control of a small USV. Now, all of this course is set up as a very generic. It's not Fugro specific. We're not operating Fugro vessels, and that was done on purpose because part of the accreditation process was it needed to be generic. But again, we're teaching internal Fugro and external folks. So it's yes, we're all Fugro trainers. But we're not necessarily using Fugro-specific pieces of equipment for this particular course. We have other courses for that. So again, just to emphasize, regulatory frameworks, as I'm sure anyone that's worked within USVs is well aware that is quite a challenge and that is something that is changing quite often. So we train that very much at the start of the course. Talk a little bit about communication, USV familiarization, and then towards the end as well, the sensor and navigation tools. We don't focus very much on the payload, because that's really something we would teach through a separate course, through survey or geophysical, but it's certainly in terms of the sensors that are required to operate the USV. Yes, already covered a fair bit of this really, but to do with cybersecurity, human element considerations. That is something that, again, focusing very much on safety. So operating a USV is not quite, this might be the first time that a lot of folks that have come to the course have actually operated a USV. And it's not quite the same. You know, you're not necessarily on a vessel that's rocking and rolling. You're sat inside of a room that isn't. So you have weather considerations. Bearing in mind that the platform is out there operating and you're in a nice, dry, air-conditioned office. But also human factors as well. You know, operating. How do you set up the ergonomics of an ROC? And part of the course, we do we network up together an ROC to simulate that's something you will be doing in your own office. I mentioned earlier on that there's quite a few prerequisites because the course is only a week long. So the prerequisite that we have, you need to have a recognized certificate of competency, such as something like an NCAA Master or an SCCW Officer of the Watch ticket, in order to come onto the course. And if you're unsure about the exact requirements, we have brochures that I can send you email links for, or just contact us and we can discuss that before you apply for the course. We do also take alternative flag state competencies and RYA certificates that could also be evaluated. We have quite a broad remit from the NCAA as to what can and can't be accepted in order to attend our course. The entire course is delivered in person. I mentioned earlier on, it is all takes place in Turnchapel. So it's an in-person course. There's no remote element to it whatsoever. We can take up to 6 participants. And we can also take up to 2 observers. Now, observers would not necessarily get the certificate, but if you're interested in just finding out what the course is all about, then we can take an observer on, and you can, perhaps, for example, you may not have the prerequisites to get the certificate. We can bring you on as an observer. You can still attend the course, go through the motions. You just wouldn't get the ticket at the end of the day. So further information, there's a useful little QR code there that will take you directly to that the link of the brochure for the course. So feel free to, whilst that's on the screen, to have a little look. And any other questions, you can contact myself. The lead trainer for this is a chap called Chris Ord. So again, his contact details will be on that brochure. Thank you very much for your attention.